Hello, everybody. Welcome. Thank you for joining my Best Getting Better every Thursday. I'm Steve Lentini. I've been in sales for 40 years. I've been teaching salespeople my own program since 2005. In 1998, I owned the license for the Sandler Sales Institute. And before that, I was in either different vice president of sales roles or owned my own businesses and managed salespeople and been interested in helping people succeed all my life. Even as a kid, I remember encouraging people and telling them they could do it, whatever they put their mind to, and that it's important that you focus on what it is that you love, what you're good at, what you have a passion for. What Joseph Campbell used to say is your bliss, follow your bliss, and the money comes, doors open. And it's been true all my life. I have made spectacular $1 million sales multiple times in my life when it looked like no sales was going to be made or no sale would be made. In fact, 2 of the 3, I let them go completely with the idea that I would help them, and they came back to me, and those sales, we ended up being a perfect fit. So I'll tell you a little later how you can reach me. My coaching program, you can go on my website and buy the Wake Up, Jump Into Your Life book for $49.95. And it includes an hour of my coaching, which is a $300 value. And beyond, I have people I've done work with who have gone on to make hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars more each year of their life after investing some time and money with me. And so change your thinking, change your life. My quote is, if you don't like your experience of the world, change how the world is experiencing you. So in today's The Best Getting Better, part of the reason I say it's the best getting better is I don't work with everybody. I'm certainly not going to drag people to a new future. People have to be willing to have a new future. They have to be willing to get uncomfortable, be willing to change who they are as a person, and to learn how they show up. So what I found has been a block for most salespeople is they don't realize how they show up in life. They don't realize that they're the actual block to their success. And they don't realize how important it is to manage the energy that one puts out, and that managing the energy that one puts out is really key to what you get back, right? So you get what you give in life, and if you're putting out a negative energy, or if you think you can put one over on somebody, or that you're really there to sell them, you're not really there to sell them. You're there to help them. And if you're selling, you're pushing, you've got people feeling like you're focused on your goals and not their goals, they're going to run away from you. I mean, literally, they're going to run away from you. So when you manage your energy effectively, you have an energy that pulls back from people, and you're curious. You're intellectually curious as to why are they looking for what you're selling? Why are they looking at your company or you? What is it that's not working about their current solution? What is it about their current situation that's causing them to go looking for a solution? Maybe it's costing them money in their current situation. They have a pain, meaning that, say, their business would be more productive with your solution. Or they're looking for a solution that would help them be more productive in their business. And lower productivity costs money, right? If people can get done more in the same amount of time with some new software or your new solution or your new machine for cleaning, whatever it is that you sell, let's say that your solution that you figured out how to help a hospital have easier paperwork with your infusion system, with your pain management system. Maybe your system reduces the amount of paperwork, helps the hospital get paid faster, helps you to get paid faster. So yes, you'd both have a stake in it because you'd get paid faster, but they would also get paid faster. I mean, hospitals are typically waiting for their money from a government agency or Medicaid or an insurance company or Medicare. So if you've got ideas that help people become more productive, then yeah, that's the conversation you want to have. And you want to learn to help them hear whether they need you or not. So you need to have curiosity, intellectual curiosity, I call it, because you want to have questions. What are they using now? Why isn't it a fit? What's not working? What about change? Would they change? Have they changed before? And did it not work? What happened during that experience when they changed the last time? What if they don't change? What if they just stay the same? I mean, sometimes I hear people telling me something kind of dispassionately. They're, well, we'd like to change, but really they don't have to change. Okay, so let's suppose you stay. When I hear that, I want to say, let's suppose you stay the way you are. It doesn't sound to me, right? If I'm listening really well, then I know it doesn't sound to me like you have a lot of motivation to change. It kind of seems like you could change, but it wouldn't matter even if you didn't change. That if you stayed the same, everything would be okay. So let's suppose you stay the same. What happens? What happens to your department? What happens with your responsibilities? How does it impact your responsibilities? I want to know that, because if they don't make a change, but it does impact their responsibilities, now you're going to get them emotional. Well, I suppose if I don't change, I could lose my job, or it would impact negatively on my review next year, or it would look bad. My job's key. It's critical to this responsibility. We need better productivity. We need to improve. Okay, now I'm seeing some emotion, and I know possibly they'll consider change. But that's my job, to gather information. So I have to have questions, but I won't have questions if I don't have real intellectual curiosity. Not everyone is a fit for what you sell. If you've got the old-fashioned kind of boss who's saying, what did you sell lately? And what's in the pipeline? What are you going to close? And they're putting a lot of pressure on you to close, you have to remind your boss, it's your job. That's right. You train them. You say, boss, we're on the same page. I want to close people. You want to close people. I want more sales. You want more sales. Here's how I do it. I've got 5 people in a conversation that I'm working with to help them hear whether they need us or not. 3 of them look like they might be a good fit. These 2 don't look like a good fit. And we've got to let them go. They're going to waste our time, by my sense. If you want someone else to handle it, I'm glad to have someone else handle it. The boss is the boss. If they want to have someone else handle it, fine. You learn to let certain things go based on your intellectual curiosity, the questions you establish, and trust your gut. If your gut says this person is tire kicking, you could even say, Mary, don't get me wrong, I got a lot of people who are tire kicking. Maybe you're ready to buy in 3 months, but it doesn't sound to me like the company's ready. The company. So it's not Mary. It's not personal. It's not, you don't say that you're not ready, Mary. You say, doesn't sound to me like the company's ready. Then let them respond. If people have a lot of respect for someone who's in front of them that's listening and truly hears them to the point that they feel heard. People want to feel heard today. And they'll tell you the truth. They'll say, you know what, Steve? You're right. We're really not ready. We're looking now for June. Right? So it's now March, April, May, June. It's 3 months. Okay, so should I come back the end of April, Mary? Yes. Okay, great. Let's set up a time and a day. So you set up a time and a day. If between now and then you come up with other questions, Mary, or something else comes up that needs you to push this ahead or move it a little faster, would you mind just call me right away? I'll come anytime you need me to if something changes. Would you let me know? Okay. Would you mind if I check in with you at the beginning of April to make sure we're still on track? See, it's my job to continue to narrow down the behavior, kind of close the corral slowly. I once had to gather a whole bunch of sheep that a friend of mine had 200 sheep. He sold them all, and there were 13 that were kind of like semi-wild. And he couldn't corral them. They were out, and he had 200 acres. They were out in the pastures. Little by little, I corralled them into a smaller area. So I would put some fencing around them, and I put some grain out, and they would eat the grain, and I'd be kind of nearer the grain bucket, but not so near, if you know what I mean. I had the grain bucket over here, and I had the lawn chair over here. Gradually, I let the sheep come to me, and each week I went with the trailer, so they got used to the trailer with no intention of getting them. Gradually, I would move the fencing in so that they got comfortable. Yeah, they get comfortable, and they got comfortable with me. And they were my sheep. There was no doubt about it. And I let them get comfortable, and I closed the corral gradually. And that's what you want to do with prospects. You want to, your job is to set up the fencing and gradually close it in so that you help them hear what you need. You help them hear whether they need you or not, and then you're clear about what next steps are. And if, as long as it's continuing to move forward, and you're both in agreement that it's moving forward, what's the difference if it's in the funnel for now or for 3 months from now? As long as you know and you can communicate that to your boss, that's your job. Then your job is to keep communicating to your boss that your job is to meet people, and that's what you're doing. You're going to networking events. You're going to where your customers hang out. You're going to maybe join a networking group. You're going to join an association where your target market hangs out. You're going to get active so that you're visible and credible. You're not going to take I once had a guy say to me, hey, let's get the membership list and email everybody that's in the membership. Now that you just joined this group, you don't do that when you just join. You do that maybe 6 months later, a year later, when they learn that you're credible, you're an asset. And how do you become credible, right? So first you become visible by joining, and then you become more visible by joining a committee. You help the group. That makes you credible, because let's say that you're enrolled in helping with the golf tournament every year, or you're enrolled with adding new members. By showing up at the committee meetings, or maybe you're on the marketing committee, by showing up on the committee meetings, they get to learn that you're a valuable contribution, right? You're now credible because you keep your word, you show up for meetings, you do what you say you're going to do, you help them raise funds, you help them get sponsors for the golf tournament, whatever it is that you do, now you're credible. So visible first, right? Then credible. That equals profitability. Visibility plus credibility equals profitability. And you'll do fine. You'll do well. Takes time. There's an investment of time. So when I work with management and they tell me, I have them tell me how they manage their sales team. When they tell me, well, we got goals from everybody and we're constantly asking them, what are you closing? What's next? No, we want you to manage their behaviors, understand where they are in the pipeline, and learn how to disqualify people. Qualify well, to keep it positive as opposed to the word disqualify. But that's really what you're doing, is gathering enough information to determine if this prospect is worth investing extra time in. You're helping them too. Why waste their time? Why waste their time? It isn't all about you, right? It's not all about you. So now you have questions because you're intellectually curious. You're detached from outcomes. You're not concerned about closing someone. You're concerned about understanding whether they're a good fit and whether they're a good investment for your time and their time. Whether your company is a good investment of their time and whether their company is a good investment of your time. So it's a two-way street. It's a two-way street. And today, you're not selling anything. You're helping people buy. Do you get that concept? You're helping people buy. Why is that? Why has it shifted from 30 years ago when salespeople were taught features, advantages, benefits, and you did kind of a tap dance on the table and said, okay, ta-da, what do you think? Would you take delivery next Wednesday or next Friday? Sign here. Press hard, 3 copies. That's the old way. That's the old way. Today, you want to establish what I call an adult-adult conversation, an adult-adult relationship, where you're paying attention to what you're feeling and you find a way to say what you're feeling all along in the conversation. It's your job as a salesperson to continue to define that relationship so that you keep the communication going, even if it's a decision they're not going to make for 3 months or 6 months. So clearly after each meeting, all right, so our next steps are, Mrs. Smith, here's what I have so far. Done. These are our next steps. Agreed? Yes. Anything you'd like to add? No. Okay, fine. You mind if I check in with you a week before this next meeting to confirm? No, that's great. If any changes come up in between this meeting and the next one, would you email me or call me right away so that I can address it for you? Yes. Your conversations after I leave, right? Everybody has conversations after they meet with a new company about a new solution. So your conversations after I leave. Any aha moments, would you mind calling me and let me know? Say, hey, Steve, we thought of something. See, again, it's your job to define it and your job to keep the whole thing moving forward. So that's why I call it helping people buy. The other thing is your job to manage the energy that you put out so that you're not pushing at people. You're not pushing at people because there's only one way they can go. You push at something, feel the energy between your hands, go like this. You can actually feel the energy and your hand will naturally, the other hand will naturally pull away. That's what happens when you're putting too much pressure on. Now, if someone's kind of like mealy mouth and sitting neutral, you know, they're like non-committal, you got to get them moving. That's where you might be, you know, I sense you know, there's not a lot of emotion around this decision. It seems like maybe this is not the time, that maybe you could stay the same, right? So again, you have that sense that they're not going to change because you got someone that's sitting here like this. Someone on the other hand, let's conversely go with someone that you sit down with and go, boy, your timing is great. We really need you here. We're going to buy your solution. Okay, great. So now what you want to do is slow them down. You pull back a little bit. They're coming at you. You pull back. You receive the energy, right? You say, okay, great. All right, now talk to me a little bit about, I'd love to make the sale. I mean, we haven't even chatted even a little bit to determine what level you need us to address and what, we have so many different solutions. So tell me a little bit about what's going on. Why all the emotion? I see. That's great. So now you slow them down a little bit by saying, talk to me. Tell me about this. Because a lot of times people who are that enthusiastic have no decision-making power. They might be an influencer. Maybe they're going to take you to the next level. Oh yeah, Jim, I got to tell you, this is great. Your timing's good. Okay, great. Thanks, Bill. I see all the enthusiasm. Talk to me a little bit about it. What's going on? What's happening? So then they say, well, I'm part of a committee and I've been charged with getting all the information from all the different suppliers. Oh, okay. So there's going to be more people than me. Oh, yeah, there's going to be 2 or 3 of them. Well, why'd you say you really liked our solution? Well, we've done some research. It seems like you're the company. Oh, okay. So then it's been narrowed down to just us? No. I got to bring in, 2 or 3 other people because that's the function of the committee charged me with. Oh, okay. So it's a committee. When do I meet with the committee? Just curious. So, you slow it down. Now, if somebody's going real slow, yeah. Jim, it's great that you came in. We're going to be bringing in 3 or 4 people. It's my job to define that process and screen everybody. And so when you say screen everybody, Bill, I'm glad there's a process and I'm glad to be a part of it. I'm grateful. Talk to me a little bit about when you say screening, what's that look like? Well, we're going to narrow it down from 4 to 2, and then those 2 are going to meet with the final committee. Oh, okay. Great. Any chance we can meet with the final committee before you go from 4 to 2? So it's your job to understand the commitment and to get people moving a little bit. So how long will this process take in your mind, Bill? Well, Jim, it's going to take about 4 or 5 months. Yeah. Okay, so there's no urgency really to change like next month or the month after. No, there really isn't any urgency. You want to confirm that. Okay, so what if you stay the same? What if you don't address this at all? Talk to me about what's going on. So now you want to see if they can wait 4 months, maybe they can wait a year. Maybe they don't need to make this change. Maybe they don't need to make this investment. So you do want to understand all these things. Excuse me. I mean, just people are so, I'm such in demand that people are phoning like crazy today, which is great, and texting me. So that's, if you hear a buzzing, that's what's going on. So if Bill says, no, Jim, we it's 4 months, but I'm just thinking it'll take that long between, let's say it takes a month for us to decide, and then the company we choose might take 2 months to get it going. Oh, no. I mean, what is it that you're looking for specifically? Let's determine the scope of the project. But oftentimes, even in some of our biggest projects, we've delivered in a month. So if there's some urgency, if you'd rather speed it up, we can help you with that. Okay, yeah, we're just thinking that's how long it takes based on experience. Based on people you've used before? Yeah, see, now you're finding something out. All right, well, what if I said we can get it done in a month? That's even our most challenging projects. We've The longest it's ever taken us is a month. Some things we get done in a week. Maybe it's installing software. I don't know what it is, but your job to have the questions and to have a sense of keeping that back and forth going based on how you feel, based not on a tactic or a technique or role play. If you're showing up real and you really understand your industry and you understand customers' pain, right? You've been involved in solving a number of people's pain, then you can be the person that has the solution, and you naturally can have a lot of questions because you're grounded and you're not attached to an outcome. You want the ideal client or maybe the mid-range client, and you know where to walk away below the mid-range client. You know that, okay, that project's, oh, gee, that's a little too small for us. I got a few people that I think could help you. Or there's another division of my company that could help you, and I can walk them right in here. Can we set something up for next Tuesday, and I'll bring them along? So you walk it through so that you just don't leave people with a bad taste, and like don't leave them with something else to do. If they're not a fit, if they're a fit for another division of your company, you walk them through. If they're not a fit for your company at all, have a couple other solutions that you refer. Maybe you work with smaller companies and you bring them in. You bring them in. That's going the extra mile in customer service. So again, the energy you put out needs to match and mirror the energy that the prospect is putting out. No attachment to outcomes. You're there really to figure out and help the prospect figure out if they're a fit for you or not, and if you're a fit for them. And you're really paying attention to what's a good fit for you, and you have questions to help you determine that. If they're not a fit, then what you're going to do is help them find the right fit and even bring them the right fit. And even be willing to help, because I've had people tell me, hey, we got 9 suppliers, we're going to 1. Okay, and we've never done $1 with you. How could I ever switch to you? You're right, how could you? It's very reasonable. And I ended up with those situations twice, and one was close to $1 million, one was over $1 million sale. So I know for a fact that what belongs together in a universe comes together, that there's nothing you can do to make it fall apart if you understand the law, which means you have to be willing to let it go and help people, be genuine in your willingness to help. What a great energy that is. See, you're managing your energy. I was willing to help people. This is before I taught it. Now I'm teaching it because I did it successfully, naturally. But it's not something that people can't learn. They can learn it. You can learn how to be detached from outcomes. If I have to coach your boss, call me, email me. I'll come and see your boss. I'll say, hey, your sales team is reaching out to me. They say you need some help. They don't have to know who. So when you're managing your energy and you're really willing to let things go, it's amazing what falls into place. Amazing. A couple things happen here. Let me tell you what the laws of the universe are. So when you let something go, it creates a void. It creates a vacuum, right? It's like having a jar full of something and you empty it. It creates a void. So let's look at what's on my desk here. Let me show you what's on my desk. So here's a can filled with pens and a knife and scissors. If I empty this and put it back with 3 things in it, in 3 months or 3 weeks, it'll be full again with other things. It'll be filled with other pens. And the universe abhors a vacuum. It does not like a vacuum. So when you create space, it rushes in. Another example, say you open up a vacuum sealed jar of peanut butter or pickles, whatever it is. Do you notice that there's a whoosh? There's this place where when you finally break that seal, air rushes in because it's a law. It's a law. So when you let something go, something else comes in to replace it. Now, I let those 2 big sales that I'm talking about, and even a third one that was well over $1 million, I was willing to let them go, and it created space for the client to actually come back at me. Miraculous sales. Miraculous. And I let them go completely. If I had told my boss at the time, I'm sure that she would have been upset. Hey, I had an opportunity with this big real estate company, but it just wasn't the right time. It wasn't a fit. They had 9 suppliers. They were going to 1, and they don't do business with us now. I'm sure she would have said, what do you mean? We're great. Can you get back in there? Can you call them up? You didn't do the right thing. They came back, right? They came back. Because of the way I did it, I left them with an idea that would help them. I said, I have an idea that will help you with XYZ. And the particular guy I'm thinking about said, what's the idea? Aren't you bringing in all your suppliers, Pete? His name was Pete. Yeah, they're your existing suppliers. Yeah, how long have you had some of them? Oh, I don't know, 20 years, more. Okay. One of them is going to have the idea to help you with XYZ. He said, you know what? You're probably right. He said, if not, call me. I'm glad to help. I'm glad to help. 2 weeks later, he called back. Because the 9 suppliers, can you imagine? None of them had the idea that I had. And then it happened again with an even larger potential customer who had 16 suppliers. Imagine, I thought deja vu when I heard, how come? We went in to see her. Her name was Linda, and she said, hi, so glad you came in. We're curious about your company. And I want to tell you, just before we get started, we could never buy from you. I said, wow, okay. Well, I am kind of curious. I understand that. You're telling me we can't buy. Why is that? You couldn't buy from us. I mean, you couldn't buy, I should say. Well, we got 16 suppliers. We're going to 1. All right. And how long have you done business with some of them? Oh, 35 years with some of them. 30 years, 25 years, 18 years. Okay, I understand that. Why did you ask us in, though? I'm kind of curious. Well, we heard a lot about you guys. You're new in the state, which was true. What have you heard? I said. She told me. We heard some good. We heard some bad. All right, give me the bad. She gave me the bad. I said, did you believe it all? No, not all of it. What about the good? She told me the good. Did you believe it all? No, not all of it. I said, well, some of the bad's true. Some of the good's true. And there's some that isn't. Oh, that's reasonable. She appreciated the honesty. I could tell. It was refreshing, right? Salespeople typically don't tell us we're the best, we're the greatest. They go at someone. Here, I was pulling back. No, it's okay. It's reasonable. I understand. Yeah, some of the good, some of the bad. Yeah. Since we're not going to get to business, mind telling me what you're looking for? No. She said, no, I'll tell you the whole story. She told me. She said, sounds like you need a partner. What's partner? She said, what's that? You could tell it piqued her curiosity. I said, aren't you bringing in all 16 suppliers? Yeah, over when? Over what period? 5, 6 weeks. Oh, okay. Somebody's going to have the same idea. I mean, I can't imagine they wouldn't. They've all been in the business as long as we have. If they don't, call me. They called. Yeah, they called. She said, Steve, would you mind telling me your idea about partnership? I said, no, I don't mind. Would you mind helping me with something? Sure. She said, I don't mind. Would you put me in the list? I know it's a long shot, but would you put me in the list? Yeah, sure. I'm glad to put you on for consideration. We won the business. Just like the first guy, we won the business. Last year in New York City, we won the business against a big company. We won the business because I gave space for whatever people were thinking, whatever people were saying. I didn't challenge what they were thinking or saying at the moment. And they were willing to tell me the whole story because I was reasonable and confirmed that they were being reasonable with what their ideas were at the time. And then we won the business. I won the business. Okay. So because I had learned very naturally to manage my energy and to detach from outcomes, I was grateful to have the opportunity. Start with an appointment. That's great. I'm grateful to get an appointment. Once I get an appointment, I want to understand and respect their time and understand where's the prospect, where are they coming from, what are they looking for? Am I truly the best solution? Maybe not. Maybe not. No one sells everyone. It's impossible. There'd only be one of everything. There'd only be one supplier for everything we do. There's multiple suppliers, a myriad of different software solutions, different service providers, different healthcare equipment companies, different engineering companies, different architectural firms, different marketing firms, different graphic firms. It's about having the most productive conversation and finding the connection. It isn't about pressure and feeling the pressure. It's about allowing your sales team, find who the best people are to go out and meet people, then find the best people who are that can listen and ask a lot of questions. Maybe it's the introvert that is a good team for your meet and greeter, the person that's out networking. Maybe you need the introvert to be with them who would ask a lot of questions. And develop a natural process that encourages a back and forth, back and forth. It's like serve the lob, have the volley come back, serve it back over, but not with a technique to close someone, to ensnare them. Closing is as simple as this. If you've had a great conversation, a productive conversation with lots of good questions, here's what closing looks like. So it sounds to me like we're moving closer together and that we're a good fit for each other. Are you feeling that way? Yes. Okay, so talk to me about your feelings. Tell me exactly how you're feeling with our back and forth so far. So now you listen intently. In your mind, what's next? Now listen again. What's the next step in your mind? No, next step to me is we need to look at installation dates. Who are your people that'll do the installation? Have them meet our people. Okay, so that's great. So let's look at a schedule. Let's get what about contract? How do you feel about looking at that? Yeah, we're ready. We're ready to look at that. Okay, because you got to introduce what's uncomfortable. If they missed the idea of a contract, how do you send people in to meet, installation people to meet, without at least having the dialogue about it? I'm glad to schedule it and get that all set up, and we can work on the contract at the same time. We can even have our crew come in, not a problem, and we will get everything, all the details ironed out, and then we'll move. Sounds like we're moving ahead. Yes, we're moving ahead. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. Okay, so I said that I would give you how to contact me. I am Steve Lentini. And how you reach me is Steve, S-T-E-V-E, at S-T-E-V-E-L-E-N-T as in Tom, I-N-I.com. Steve at stevelentini.com. My office phone is 802-782-8335. My cell phone is 917-805-1088. 805-1088, area code 917. So it's Steve at stevelentini.com. Buy my book, go online to theprosperityinstitute.com. So I have two websites, theprosperityinstitute.com, and buy my wake up book, and you get an hour's worth of free coaching. Also go to Steve at stevelentini.com or go to stevelentini.com, and my new books are available through there as well. And you can reach out to me and I'll answer any question. You can also send me a question during these webinars. All right, I'm grateful for your attendance. I'm grateful for your commitment to my work. And thank you for your support. Talk to you next week. Every Thursday, the best getting better. Every Thursday. Thank you.